Hello Aquarius, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Aquarius. So I already have the first card out. It is the Knight of Wands in the reverse position as your central theme, central energy. I'm actually going to do one more shuffle. And then wait for the next card while I talk about this actually. So a lot of you are dealing with a fire sign. This is, for the next 2 weeks at least, this is a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, okay? And I do feel that this is somebody that is a little bit hot-headed, a little bit flaky, and I do feel they rush into things and they tend to, you know, exert all of their, they're pushy, but not only are they pushy, they gather up all their courage, all of their momentum, all of their fiery passion. It's all balled up into one, and they push forward, and then they fizzle out, they burn out. So you could be dealing with an energy like this, in which you are looking at only one aspect of your life, and you're kind of like letting the other areas wilt away. So I do feel that for those of you dealing with this person as a fire sign external to you, this person is not looking at where they're headed, and they're being guided in the wrong direction. There's also, they're lacking a great deal of introspection, and they're also lacking the ability to really see the bigger picture, okay? So they're being crossed by this. This is the challenge. They need to slow down. They need to see things from like a bird's eye view, and they need to like internalize or at least incorporate important life lessons from the past in order to move ahead and have a better future. So this is like, you know, don't rush in and not learn from your old mistakes. Whatever you've learned, it's all a part of a learning process. Whatever happened in the past, no matter how badly things might have like descended into chaos, there's always something to take away from it. So in this regards, I do sense it is really important for either you or whoever that fire sign is. If you've dealt with a fire sign and the relationship has been very conflictual, it's definitely an eye-opening experience, and it's a learning experience for you and for them as well, so that you don't make the same mistakes moving forward in your future, okay? So let's pull out the rest of the cards and see what's surrounding this. Okay, in the past we have the Three of Coins. In the future we have the Five of Wands. The crowning energy, we have the Chariot. Very, very good card. Wow. And you have the Ace of Swords here. What's in your environment that you're not aware of? Advice here, Ten of Wands, reverse. This is a very good spread. Seven of Swords, external environment. Eight of Wands, hopes and fears, reversed. Wow. Okay, so the outcome here, the Hierophant. Nine of Cups, reverse. The Moon, upright. Okay, so let's talk about this situation. Okay, so what I'm getting here is there's definitely something that is stirring your passion, okay? There's definitely something stirring your passion. It's coming back in for round 2 from the past. I do feel for a lot of you, this might be a work situation. There might have been like a proposal for a work partnership. There might have been like a training situation. There might have been a job that you feel very, very strongly about. And, you know, for some reason you didn't take it, or you didn't, things might not have panned out in the past, or they might not have like, it was just the wrong timing in the past, okay? So you're actually going back in and you're trying to at least achieve, or at least give that job a second try, okay? I do sense that it's a job for a lot of you. It's a job situation. And I do feel as well that this is something that you're guided to do, okay? This is something that is actually going to serve your greater good. However, with the Hermit crossing, I do sense that you're being guided to this old job from the past, possibly because it's Mercury in retrograde, or possibly because it's a good opportunity for you that you might have overlooked the first time, and now it has a chance to cycle back in, and it could be very, very fruitful. However, what I'm sensing here with the outcome with the Hierophant is all about structure, very, very strong institutions. It is also a card of possibly like a marriage, a potential for a marriage situation, because it does indicate institutions, it does indicate like old ways of doing, traditions that have survived many, many centuries, many, many generations, and are still around because they work. Okay, so I do feel that, you know, being an Aquarius, you do want your independence, you do want to do things your way, and you are very, very decisive when it comes to, you know, executing plans and ideas and knowing what you want and going forward with it. So I do feel a lot of you are like charging ahead. A lot of you are charging ahead, and I do sense that you're being guided back into this previous work situation that might have been on the table for you in the past. And I'm sensing for a lot of you, it might have been just the past 3 months. Okay? You're being guided. I feel like you're being guided by spirits in order to cycle back in the past. But there's something in the future. There's another job in the future, and you feel like, you know, that's what I really want, because you're severing ties and you're already scoping out the future. So you're already looking ahead, and you're not going to give that thing from the past a second chance. Let's see how the energy plays out, okay? So that's the energy that I'm getting for you at this present moment. Because what's crowning you here is rapid movement, progression, moving on with your life, and moving on to better, newer things. Because I know, Aquarius, you like novelty items. You want the new. So when something is done from the past, you're pretty much done with it, and you won't give it another chance. So I do feel that you want movement, you want progression, you want you're not emotionally tied to the past anymore, so you don't really want that offer coming through. However, what's coming through for you here is the Chariot card. This is potentially, you know, two seahorses drawing the chariot, going in different directions. And I do sense that you're going to have to grapple with this energy, either go with the past or move forward with something in the present. Either way, I'm sensing that there is something solid from the past coming through. There's something solid from the future coming through. So I don't feel that you can go wrong. So it's a matter of deciding for yourself what you feel is worth it. However, Mercury is going to be in retrograde by the 17th. So you want to really be careful about new projects, okay? The old is always good, but you want to be really careful about new projects. I know you like novelty, and I know you want progression. So both of those things indicates to me that most of you are going to move on with the future thing, which is fine. However, what's coming through is we have the Five of Wands, which indicates to me a little bit of conflict of interest. Usually it is sparring, it is, you know, like going on an interview and having to compete with other interviewees, going to a sporting event, or going to, you know, finding new clients, for example, and having to compete with whoever it is that's selling the same product. So this is a card, it's not like intense competition like the Five of Swords where people are saying hurtful things. This is mainly just sparring, competition in a playful manner. Okay, so that's what's coming through for you, and I do feel, okay, so I do sense that's coming through. Whatever you decide to do, there's this competition. So that job that might have been on the table in the past, you're now going to have to go through the whole formal interview process in order to get it. And it's corroborated by the Hierophant, okay? So you still have to be on your best behavior. You can't just say that, oh, you know, you offered me the job 3 months ago. Sorry, I declined it. Can I take you up on that offer now? Because the other person is going to make you jump through hoops. I don't feel they're doing it on purpose, or they're doing it like to hurt you, or to make you like to humble you or anything like that. I do feel that it is just a part of the hiring protocol, okay? So you're not, you're going to have to go through the formal channels in order to get the job that you want, is what I'm sensing. And what's in your environment that you're not aware of here is the Ace of Swords. So Ace of Swords is indicative of truths coming to light. It is definitely new information coming through so that you can make better informed decisions. And I do feel a very future oriented energy associated with this. So, and I do sense that it's a card of severance as well. If you've been in an unhealthy relationship or an unhealthy work environment that's trying to cycle back into the past, you're not going to give it the time of day. Most of you will not. So I do sense that you're going to, you aim for progression and forward movement and momentum forward. So it's a very good energy. In terms of your advice here is, this is a card of being very, very burdened. This is a card where you're just scrapping whatever that has been weighing you down and you're moving on with your life. And I do feel that in your external environment, you have the Seven of Swords. This is a character that steals from others. This is a character that is very unscrupulous. This person doesn't really have a moral compass. So this is an energy that you're dealing with. And I do feel that with the Ace of Swords, excuse me, and the way this person is looking, I do sense that what I'm getting is this. You're kind of seeing this act of indiscretion from far away. Okay, you're kind of like ahead of the curve because you're anticipating, or at least you're seeing this situation happening. So you're kind of like the clairvoyant, where you're actually you're telling people, okay, this is what's going to happen. And, I do feel other people are going to take some convincing, but all of a sudden something happens, something triggers this month. And I do feel a lot of it has to do with, Mercury in retrograde, where people who are doing wrong things are going to get caught. So you're basically the whistleblower and you're telling other people, this is what's happening, and no one really believes you until now. You have evidence of it and you're seeing this happening from far away with your little telescope, and you're anticipating who's involved, the outcome, and you're going to be able to tell people, and people are going to believe you. So, knowledge is power, but at the same time, it comes with responsibility. Okay, so when it's like when it's like somebody's personal life, you want to be a little bit more delicate about it. When it concerns other people, then yes, you can tell other people, the ones that it's concerning too, but you want to be very careful about exposing other people's private lives when it doesn't serve any purpose, when it creates rumors and gossip, okay? So just be careful about that, because I do feel that it could potentially come through. So in terms of, this new revelation as to what this person is doing, their motives for doing it, I do feel that for a lot of you, you're just like, okay, now I really know what has been going on, what has been, holding me back, and what this person is up to. So you're going to scrap that relationship. You're just going to drop it and walk away. And I do feel that for a lot of you, once you walk away, you don't really look back. So I do sense that what no longer works in the past is going to be left behind, and this person has to basically fend for themselves, okay? So in terms of your hopes and fears, you're kind of fearful that there's going to be communication, possibly, like somebody coming back and re-engaging in you in conflict. And I do feel for a lot of you, this might be on the work front, okay? I do sense that it's a very institutionalized setting. It's also like there's a system of hierarchy. There's a lot of paperwork, paper pushing, red tapes in place that's preventing you from streamlining the process. So you're going to have to go through that whole, hiring process. You're going to have to do all the tedious menial work of trying to land that job, or at least proceeding with the new job. But the new job looks very stable. It's very fruitful. We do have also the Nine of Cups in the reverse position. So this is also a wish card. It's in the reverse, which indicates to me, for example, if you've been wishing for information, if you've been wishing for clarity, you're definitely going to get it. It might be a little bit damaging in that it might open up old wounds. It might allow you to have that information with which you can confront another person. So be very prepared, okay? I do feel confrontation coming through, but I don't sense that the other person is, when you confront them with the evidence, they're not going to deny it. So you have that much going for you. They're going to be straightforward, they're going to acquiesce, and they're just going to, I guess you get to say the last word, basically. So you have information, you have truths coming through. You also have a chance to confront the other person. So a lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign where, you know, they might have like been seeing somebody else, you suspected it and you survey them, and then now all of a sudden you know that they've been seeing somebody else. So as a result, whatever information you have, make sure you wield it with a sense of responsibility, okay? Because you're definitely getting all the things that you want, but I do feel that it's kind of like a double-edged sword where you might know a little bit too much and you might realize that, okay, some truths should not be, you know, I shouldn't find out too much about the other person, mainly because it doesn't, you know, there are certain things that I need to know, but when I know too much, it colors the way in which I'm approaching this person. I can't be normal around them. I can't act normal around them. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword with the truth, okay? So make sure you expose the other, make sure whatever it is that you come across, you are responsible as to the dissemination of the truth. Learn to hold back. And I know that Aquarius are just very, very curious. You're inquisitive by nature. So whatever is on your mind, if you have like these, you know, new revelations, you're just like jumping up and down and you're like fidgety and you're just dying to just tell somebody about it. So be very careful about this, okay? Because some information in general we shouldn't be privy to, because if it, especially if it involves like investigation, if it involves like, you know, digging into somebody's personal life without their consent, you want to be very careful about how much needs to be revealed and how much you have to. It's a breach of privacy essentially. So you want to be very careful about this, because I do feel, you know, with the Hierophant, this is also a card of great karma. So you want to be very, very careful. You seek the truth only if it's applicable to something that is affecting you, okay? Everything else, knowing too much, knowing, you know, like being bogged down with way too much information, that can also be a detriment. So you want to be very careful um, about what information is being exposed, why, and what information it is ethical to hold back from other people, to hold back from the public, okay? Because I do sense that if everything is exposed and they find out that you're the source, there might be some ramifications because you're spilling, you're revealing too much, okay? So you want to not reveal way too much. You want to hold back a little bit. In terms of the moon card here, I do feel that definitely truths are coming out. However, once again, the moon does indicate deception. So you really have to like second guess the source of information that you're getting it from, okay? And I do feel that for a lot of you, you want to move forward. You want the clarity and the information as to how you want to move forward. But there's definitely a situation where you have to cycle back through for a second round in order to proceed ahead. For those of you who are specifically dealing with a fire sign, um, this is this can be their sun, moon, rising, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I do sense that there's definitely a situation coming to light with this person, possibly a breakthrough, and it can be good or bad. I do feel like depending on the role this person has played in your life, I do feel I'm almost sensing like a lapse of judgment coming through from this fire sign. Usually they're very controlled. Usually, like, you can't really engage with one another and have like a civilized conversation, mainly because you don't really see eye to eye. You might have worked together in the past, and moving forward, there might be a little bit of conflict. There might be a truce that is reached, or at least there is a new way of communicating in which you both can proceed forward with one another, okay? For those of you who are dealing specifically with a Virgo, I have the Hermit card, and I do sense that this person is actually very instrumental in possibly revealing a lot of information, or, you know, this is a card of introspection, but it's also the card of investigation, okay? So there's potentially you have an opportunity to investigate something, or you might get some insights from a Virgo. that will help you move forward. And I do feel that if it's coming from a Virgo, it's definitely, truthful information. If it's coming from like a fire sign, if it's about a fire sign, there's definitely more to the story, and you might struggle trying to sift through what's fact and fiction, or you might sift through what is, the information could as well be all truthful, and you're going to have to decide what is worth revealing in this battle so that I can get the outcome that I want and things like that. So you might be hesitant about telling the whole truth, or you might have to be systematic about how you reveal the information so that it leads to a logical progression, so you can corner somebody with the truth or confront somebody with the truth in order to get the outcome that you want. So be smart about things, okay? Do things in a very structured way, and at the same time be a little bit more conservative, I guess, when it comes to releasing information, okay? Hold back a little bit is what I'm sensing. All right? I do sense as well that for those of you in a school or like a new job situation, you definitely have a lot of information coming through. There's a lot of research that needs to be done. And I do feel that you're gladly doing it, but just make sure you're on the right track. Make sure that the research is like focused and it's not scattered, and you're not doing like too much analysis into a situation that doesn't really serve the greater end goal of whatever project it is. So narrow down the scope of your research is what I'm sensing. All right. My website and the scheduling website can be found below. Take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your month.